Good morning and welcome. You're with us on the newspaper show. I am Preeti Dahiya, and on this show we tell you what's covering the pages of your favorite newspaper. So let's begin the day with a look at the Times of India edition for today. Now the front page of the Times of India is in fact first of all in this lead headline focusing on the Supreme Court verdict which gives equal inheritance right to daughters from 1956 onwards, but can't question pre-2004 property disposal under HSA. Now in this short graphic here, you can also understand the goal of gender justice which is achieved with this landmark judgment of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court irons out confusion arising from its own conflicting interpretations of the amended Section 6 in force since September 9, 2005 of the Hindu Succession Act of 1956. It spells out daughters' equal co-parency rights in Hindu undivided family property even if they were born before the 2005 amendment and regardless of whether their father co-parsensor died before 2005. Now this is a very important clarification that the Supreme Court has issued in this verdict, that the rule, the new order and the amendment in the Act will be applied even to cases before the year 2005 when the amendment was brought into force. But daughters won't get the right to question ancestral properties already disposed or alienated by then existing co-parsensors prior to December 20th, 2004. That is another important clarification. So now let's move on to the other important and big stories on the front page of the Times of India this morning. IT search on China entities for laundering Hawala deals. Use dummies for deals worth thousands of crores. The Income Tax Department on Tuesday launched a massive search operation on a few Chinese individuals, their Indian associates and some bank employees in Delhi, Gurgaon and Ghaziabad for suspected links to money laundering and Hawala deals running into several thousands of crores. Ready for long haul in Ladakh, forces to the PAC. This is what a short snippet here also focuses on, that the Indian armed forces are prepared for long haul in eastern Ladakh since the de-escalation process with China is likely to be a long drawn affair. The country's military brass has told the parliamentary panel and updated them about the progress made at the line of actual control vis-a-vis the de-escalation process with China. Let's talk about another important story, and this is very unfortunate. A tea seller's topper daughter dies in mishap. Family alleges harassment. Now this girl was in fact, Sudiksha Bhatti, was in India, was in her hometown on a bit of a break from US, and she was supposed to go back to US for studies, but a CBSE topper who charted her way from a school in Bulandshahr to a top college in Boston was killed in a road accident on Monday morning. The family of 19-year-old Sudiksha Bhatti, daughter of a small tea shop owner and marginal farmer, said that she was being harassed by two men on a bullet when the accident took place. Police, after initially denying the claim, formed an SIT later on Tuesday to investigate the allegation, and your channel also updated you a short while back that an FIR has been lodged in the case after much outrage across media and across political spectrum as well related to the death of Sudiksha Bhatti, a CBSE topper who died in an unfortunate road mishap. Now the Times of India this morning is also updating you about the health condition of former President Pranab Mukherjee. It remains critical and he is still on ventilator support. Former President Pranab Mukherjee is on ventilator support and remains critical. Sources in the Army's R&R hospital have said Mukherjee, 84-year-old, was admitted to the hospital on Monday in a critical condition and underwent an emergency surgery after a large clot was detected in his brain. He was also found to be COVID-19 positive. Centre says no to 4G in Jammu and Kashmir but okays trials in 2 districts. This is how the centre plans to really go ahead with restoration of 4G services in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. The Union government told the Supreme Court on Tuesday that the persisting terror threat in J&K would not allow resumption of 4G internet services in the Union territory, but agreed to provide high-speed internet in 1 district each in Jammu and Kashmir divisions on a trial basis after August 15th. And this is a report of Dhananjay Mahapatra in the Times of India this morning. And at the same time, the report also further goes on to add that 4G services will at no cost at the moment be provided in areas which are close to the line of control because of the terror threat that continues to persist in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, at the same time, yesterday, remember, Prime Minister had an interaction with several chief ministers, and after that, the Times of India reports that the Prime Minister's message to all the states is very clear. He says ramp up testing, and this message has gone out to the states of Bihar, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Bengal and Telangana. Work to reduce case fatality rate to 1%. Now, that is the goal that India is trying to achieve. Prime Minister Modi on Tuesday said that there is an urgent need to ramp up testing in these few critical states which are reporting the maximum number of cases. And this was in his interaction with chief ministers of 10 states with heavy COVID-19 case loads. Modi also urged the chief ministers to work hard on containment and contact tracing strategies. And now another important story here, which we'll go into the details when we talk about the global headlines, is that Russia has claimed that they have come out with a COVID-19 vaccine. Putin unveils first vaccine. Experts are wary about the claims made by Russian government. President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday declared Russia the first country to approve a coronavirus vaccine, but scientists and the WHO said that it still needed a rigorous safety review. And this, in fact, vaccine of Russia is named Sputnik 5. So that's about the Times of India's front page this morning. Let's now shift our focus and see what's making headlines in your favorite Hindi daily of the country. नव भारत टाइम्स में भी आज सुबह की जो लीडिंग खबर है वो यही है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा बेटे शादी तक, बेटियां ताउम्र प्यारी होती हैं, उनका पैतृक संपत्ति पर बेटों के बराबर हक किसी भी हाल में रहेगा। इस सुप्रीम कोर्ट के वर्डिक्ट की डिटेल्स जो हैं आज की उनकी लीडिंग हेडलाइन के साथ दी गई हैं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बेटियों के हक में मंगलवार को बड़ा फैसला सुनाया। कोर्ट ने कहा कि पैतृक संपत्ति में बेटी का किसी भी हाल में बेटे के बराबर हक है। जन्म के साथ ही बेटी को यह अधिकार भी मिलता है। तो जो क्लैरिफिकेशन था सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पहले ऑर्डर का वो कल आया है और ये की बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट क्लैरिफिकेशन है जो सब लोग पा सकते हैं। इस खबर के बारे में पढ़ सकते हैं नवभारत टाइम्स की लीडिंग स्टोरी में। और दूसरी जो लीडिंग स्टोरी है नवभारत टाइम्स में वो ये है कि रूस का दावा है कि बना लिया है कोरोना का पहला टीका यानी पहली वैक्सीन। रूस ने दुनिया की पहली कोरोना वैक्सीन बना लेने का दावा किया है। राष्ट्रपति व्लादिमीर पुतिन ने ऐलान किया कि रूस में बनी पहली कोविड-19 वैक्सीन को स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय से अप्रूवल मिल गया है। तो इसी के साथ ही रशिया ने एक बहुत बड़ी अनाउंसमेंट की है कि उनके पास दुनिया की पहली कोरोना वायरस वैक्सीन आ गई है। और साथ ही बुलंदशहर की वो दर्दनाक घटना जिसमें एक फॉर्मर सीबीएसई टॉपर रोड एक्सीडेंट में मारी गई, उसके बारे में भी नवभारत टाइम्स ने रिपोर्ट किया है। अमेरिका से लौटी छात्रा की मौत, पिता ने कहा शोहदों ने ली जान। दादरी में रहने वाली और यूएस में पढ़ाई कर रही छात्रा सुदीक्षा भाटी की बुलंदशहर औरंगाबाद गढ़मुक्तेश्वर स्टेट हाईवे पर सड़क हादसे में मौत हो गई। घर वालों ने बताया कि वो चाचा के साथ बाइक पर जा रही थी और उसी दौरान कुछ मंचलों ने छेड़खानी शुरू कर दी। बुलेट सवार दो युवकों ने उनकी बाइक को ओवरटेक करके अचानक ब्रेक लगा दिए और जिसके बाद अस्पताल पहुंचने पर उन्हें मृत घोषित कर दिया गया। चश्मदीद ने बताया कि छेड़छाड़ नहीं हुई थी, लेकिन परिवारजनों का कहना है कि छेड़छाड़ का मामला भी है और साथ ही इस पूरे मामले में एक एफआईआर भी अब दर्ज कर दी गई है, जबकि पुलिस पर काफी दबाव था कि एग्जैक्टली हुआ क्या है घटनास्थल पर, उसके बारे में जांच की जाए। यूएस में पढ़ाई कर रही थी सुदीक्षा भाटी और काफी लोगों को बहुत बड़ा झटका लगा है कि किस तरह से हम उनकी रक्षा नहीं कर पाए और एक सड़क हादसे में उनकी मौत हो गई है। इसके अलावा नवभारत टाइम्स ने रिपोर्ट किया है कि शायर राहत इंदौरी का हार्ट अटैक से निधन हुआ है और साथ ही पूर्व राष्ट्रपति प्रणब मुखर्जी की हालत भी नाजुक बताई जा रही है। मशहूर शायर राहत इंदौरी का मंगलवार को हार्ट अटैक से निधन हो गया। वो इंदौर के एक अस्पताल में कोरोना का ट्रीटमेंट करा रहे थे और पूर्व राष्ट्रपति प्रणब मुखर्जी की हालत भी नाजुक बताई जा रही है। उनका ट्रीटमेंट आर्मी के आरएनआर हॉस्पिटल में चल रहा है। ठीक होने वाले बढ़े रिकवरी रेट जो है भारत का अब कोरोना वायरस से रिलेटेड करीब 70% पहुंच गया है और देश में कोरोना को मात देने वालों में बढ़ोतरी और मृत्यु दर में कमी हो रही है। रिकवरी रेट 70% के आसपास है तो डेथ रेट 1.99% पर आ गया है। ये एक अच्छी खबर है क्योंकि भारत का जो कोरोना मीटर है, आप इसके बारे में भी जानकारी ले सकते हैं एक छोटे से ग्राफिक के जरिए जो नवभारत टाइम्स रिपोर्ट करता है लगातार। अब जो भारत के कुल मिलाकर मामले हैं कोरोना वायरस के वो 22 लाख से ऊपर जा चुके हैं और दिल्ली के भी मामले अब 1.5 लाख के करीब आ गए हैं, जिसमें से लगभग 1,32,000 लोग ठीक हो चुके हैं। तो चलिए अब आगे बढ़ते हैं। लेट्स टेक अ लुक एट द पिंक पेपर ऑफ द डे, द इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स, country's leading business daily, and in fact in this paper as well the leading headline is related to the Prime Minister's interaction with chief ministers of 10 states yesterday, wherein the details are given as to what was the focus of his interaction. Of course, tackling the coronavirus pandemic is the topmost priority right now, and fatality rate can fall below 1% with focused efforts is what the Prime Minister seems to have conveyed to the chief ministers of 10 states. He urges the chief ministers of 10 worst hit states to work towards helping the country win battle against pandemic. The Prime Minister said that the target of bringing COVID-19 fatality rate below 1% can be achieved through focused efforts, and exhorted chief ministers of the 10 worst affected states to work towards helping India win this battle against the pandemic. And let's talk about the big economic story of the day. Another booster shot coming to revive economy. Now, this would mean good news to a lot of people who were looking ahead to the government to provide another booster to the economy amidst the pandemic. On cards is big infra projects and policy changes to make local industry more competitive, reports Deepshika Sikarwar. The government is likely to soon announce fresh measures, including big ticket infrastructure projects and policy changes to make local industry more competitive as part of efforts to rebuild the economy in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is in fact something that people are keenly looking forward to. The COVID aid, through this graphic you can understand in brief, government eyes more measures to lift COVID hit economy, demand and supply, proposed set of measures to focus on demand and supply, big infra and defense spending on cards, measures to reorient tax administration, focus on taxpayers' rights, steps to spur manufacturing with focus on self-reliance, and will also focus on job creation. Remember, many people have lost their jobs because of the pandemic, and many people have to do with the cut in their salaries, and job creation is one of the top focuses of the government at the moment, in fact, to help people come back in the economic cycle and also revive the economy of the country overall. Further, on the front page of Economic Times, you will find the story related to Prime Minister monitoring NITI project to ensure credit for bottom of pyramid borrowers. Now, let's go into the details of this report by Ashwin Maniknandan and Surabhi Agarwal. It says that millions of daily wage workers, small farmers and beneficiaries of various government welfare schemes may soon get access to organized credit through a project that is being directly monitored by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's office. So the Prime Minister himself is monitoring this project, which is being undertaken by the NITI Aayog to ensure that credit is made available to bottom of the pyramid borrowers. And digital lending project prototypes are also mentioned in this brief news report here. Further, on the front page, even the Economic Times is not missing the important story that came in from the Supreme Court yesterday, that daughters have equal inheritance rights, says the Supreme Court. The clarification on the Supreme Court's earlier judgment is available in all the three leading newspapers that we have in fact checked so far, whether you talk about the Times of India, the Navbhar Times, or even the Economic Times. Further, in the Economic Times, if you take a look at more economy related news and business related news, factory output contraction slows in June on some manufacturing gains. India's industrial production contracted at a slower pace of 16.6% in June on the back of a modest recovery in manufacturing sector. So that just about does it for us as far as the three leading papers and their front pages are concerned. But now let's shift our focus to city-specific news, and first of all talking about the national capital. The big story from the national capital, as reported by the Times of India on page 3, is that hawkers, street vendors, to get easy loans of up to 20,000 rupees. For more on this, let's go across to my colleague Kangna, who's joining me now on the newspaper show. Kangna, good morning. Can you tell us a bit more about this scheme wherein hawkers and street vendors could get a loan up to 20,000 rupees?
Well, Preeti, good morning to you too. And the good news that is coming in from the Delhi government is that this is not the first time that the Delhi government is providing loans or making a scheme possible so that they can boost the economy after the lockdown. Now the Delhi government has decided to provide loans up to 20,000 rupees to street vendors or to hawkers in the city. According to the MCT, there are approximately 1.3 lakh registered hawkers and street vendors with the MCT. So it has been a decision that has been been taken by the Social Welfare Minister Rajendra Pal Gautam during the meeting of the corporation yesterday, where they have decided that this will reduce the this will reduce the dependence of street vendors on private money lenders, and which is why they have decided that they will be giving loans to vendors and to hawkers up to rupees 20,000 rupees, so that they can start their business again on the streets of national capital.
Right. Thanks very much, Kangna, for updating us with that story, which is reported by the Times of India in Delhi's edition. Now, let's shift our focus to Mumbai. And here also, there's an interesting update on actor Sushant Singh Rajput's death probe. And as reported by the Times of India in Mumbai edition, there is a statement from Riya Chakrabarti's camp which says that images moved in painting felt Sushant. Now, this was during a holiday that Sushant had with Riya Chakrabarti, and the actress claims that he happened to see some images which really for the first time made her understand that he's having some sort of issues mentally. Let's go across to my colleague Arunil, who's also with me on the newspaper show now. Arunil, good morning. Can you tell us a bit more about this claim made by Riya Chakrabarti's claim? When was it that she realized that perhaps Sushant could be struggling in terms of some issues with him?
Well, Riya Chakrabarti, during her interrogation with the Enforcement Directorate, that's when she told the ED officials, we understand that during the last year's Europe trip of actor Sushant Singh Rajput and Riya Chakrabarti in Florence, basically, Goya's painting, which in the famous or the infamous painting of Saturn devouring his son, that painting was seen by actor Sushant Singh Rajput, and basically Riya Chakrabarti is mentioning that after seeing that painting, the story behind that is also extremely shocking as well behind that painting. But what Riya Chakrabarti is saying that after seeing that painting, actor Sushant Singh Rajput looked completely disturbed. He could see things moving in his mind with respect to those paintings. Now, why Riya Chakrabarti is saying this, did it really happen? That also needs to be seen. But yes, Riya Chakrabarti also mentioned...
This is definitely a bit of a shocking claim made by Riya Chakrabarti. Thanks very much, Arunil, for joining us with that. In fact, another story from Mumbai edition of the Times of India is that to cut fatality rate, BMC is going to keep a tab on rising count in private hospitals, and at the same time, malaria is also one big problem that's emerging in Mumbai. It has already claimed 2 lives and breaks 2019's zero death record. So that's about the Mumbai edition of the Times of India. Let's now shift our focus to the Chennai edition of the Times of India this morning, and here the big story is once again related to the coronavirus cases. 3,600 virus positive cases missing from state's active patients list. For more on this, we'll go across to our reporter shortly, but this is again a shocking management of numbers as far as the cases of coronavirus is concerned in the state of Tamil Nadu. Earlier also there were reports that suggested that there has been massive underreporting of deaths as well as cases, and now after a brief haul we are getting these updates. Let's go across to Shabir, who's joining me on the broadcast now. Shabir, good morning. Give us more details about this report from the Times of India that there are about 3,600 virus positive cases which are missing from state's active patients list. Why is that?
Well, it's 3,000 cases that are missing. This is an analysis that was done by Times of India's Pushpa Narayanan, collecting the data from the past few days. And in that process, the Times of India has come to a conclusion that at least 3,000 cases are missing from the numbers that have been given by the Health Department officials. The Tamil Nadu Health Department issues medical bulletins on a daily basis, and based on those bulletins, an analysis was done, and there is some amount of discrepancy in the numbers that were given by the department and the numbers that have been projected in other press releases. So clearly this goes to show that there is some amount of discrepancy in the numbers. At least 3,000, more than 3,000 patients are missing. Active cases are missing. It has not reflected on the list. So there seems to be some kind of confusion here, and the experts now demand that there needs to be some kind of reconciliation. And already what happened in Tamil Nadu, where at least more than 400 deaths were not reported in the medical bulletin. So again, a new issue has cropped up.
That's right.
So
And again, it seems that the state government is falling short of the expectations in terms of managing at least its numbers carefully. Thanks very much, Shabir, for getting us that update from the city of Chennai. Let's shift our focus to the Kolkata edition of Times of India this morning. And once again, the focus continues to be on COVID-19 numbers, which are being reported from the state of West Bengal, which records 1 lakh COVID-19 cases with 2,931 new infections. So high discharge rate pulls down the number of active cases to 25,846. However, the total in the state now stands at 1 lakh, which is in fact a bit of a worry. And in fact, yesterday in his interaction as well, the Prime Minister suggested that West Bengal is one of the states that could actually help in winning India's battle against coronavirus if they continue to follow the strategy of contact tracing and also giving treatment and bringing down the fatality rate of coronavirus patients. There are some other important updates as well from the Kolkata edition of the Times of India, but let's stay focused on this and go across to Tamal, who's joining me live on the newspaper show. Tamal, good morning. The numbers are looking daunting as far as West Bengal is concerned, but the good news is that active cases are just about 25,000.
Well, that's right. Bengal has seen steady discharge rate. In fact, it had dipped down below 60%, for the first time last month. But it has picked up once again. And yesterday, for the second day in a row, Bengal saw a discharge or recoveries of more than 3,000 people in a single day count. So yesterday, the discharge rate has shot up more than 72%. And the state government has come up with ways and means through expert committees to ensure that discharge happens steadily so that hospital beds can be kept available for critical patients. That having said, the Prime Minister yesterday, while meeting the Chief Ministers, including West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, has clearly suggested that if India can win this fight against coronavirus, if 10 states in the country win over COVID-19, right, and Bengal is one of them. So okay, yes, Bengal is facing the daunting task of controlling, containing, and of course, tracking, tracing of this
That's
COVID.
Right. And West Bengal is not alone. There are many states who are struggling with the same. Thanks very much, Tamal, for joining us on the newspaper show. Let's now quickly update our viewers with Times global page. As reported in the Times of India, some of the leading global headlines. One is that Russia approves first COVID vaccine. We have spoken about it. Experts are, however, still raising concerns over scant trials. Putin vouches for safety, says his own daughter has already been inoculated. Now, that's the claim made by Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump may ban re-entry of citizens likely to have virus. Rule could target green card holders as well. Now, that could be another decision that could have a larger impact on a population that holds green cards. And at the same time, this is one important story that every Indian would be interested. Joe Biden picks Kamala Harris as a running mate. Kamala, in fact, remember, also has Indian origin. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden on Tuesday tapped Senator Kamala Harris of California as his choice for vice president. 55-year-old Harris becomes the first black woman and Indian American on a major presidential ticket in U.S. history. So we will continue to update our viewers with the latest on that front as well. But at the moment, shifting focus to Times sports page, and the page in fact is full of stories related to soccer, which was one of the first sports to really resume after the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world. But for more India-specific news, let's go across to Karishma, who is joining me on the broadcast now. Karishma, good morning. What do you have for us from the world of sports this morning?
Well, good morning, Preeti. Times of India reporting that the BCCI is looking for 2 more new sponsors for the Indian Premier League. Remember, there's a deficit of 440 crores after Vivo pulled out of the title sponsorship deal, and with the title sponsor, BCCI is hoping to get somewhere around 300 crores. Given the pandemic, BCCI knows that nobody is going to be able to match the amount of 440 crores, but Times of India is very clearly reporting that BCCI by the end of this week could pull a surprise, and instead of the 3 sponsors, it could come to 5 sponsors, which could bring about 40 crores each. So BCCI is is on the lookout for a reaching of about 300 to 350 crores for of IPL, because remember the sponsorship period will only be for 4 months, so it is going to be interesting days ahead as far as IPL sponsorship is concerned, and to see how much of a financial can IPL be
and everybody is keeping their fingers crossed for the IPL to go ahead. Thanks very much, Karishma, for joining us with your inputs on that. And with that, we're also wrapping up this edition of the Newspaper Show. Thank you so much for being with us.